Hello, everybody. This is Mark Hill, author of The Secret to Prosperity. Hope all is well. Another beautiful day in life. Today, we're talking about passive income, multiple sources of income, mainly dividend stocks, dividend investments. Investing in dividend stocks is the fastest and easiest way to instantly get passive income. I'm talking about investing in blue chip A1 billion-dollar companies that have been around for many, many decades, if not hundreds of years. I'm talking about the blue chip stocks. For example, the McDonald's, the Boeing aircraft company, the Johnson and Johnsons, the Walmarts, the Coca-Colas, the Pepsis, the Consolidated Edison Utility Company, the Detroit Edisons, the water companies like American Water Works, American States Water, the Colgates, the Hormel Foods, Clorox, 3M, ExxonMobil, Verizon Wireless, AT&T, JP Morgan, Sherwin-Williams, the Procter and Gamble, and many, many more. You get the idea. I'm talking about companies who've been not only paying dividends, but they've been raising their dividends every single year, sharing their profits with investors, giving them a 5, 10, sometimes 20% raise in income, passive income to investors. They're called dividend aristocrats or dividend kings, dividend champions. You Google dividend aristocrats or dividend kings, and you'll get a list of these companies that have been around for hundreds of years or many, many decades and have been raising their dividends. These are very special companies, very well run, well managed companies that continue to pay dividends and thrive no matter if it's a recession or it's a great economy. It doesn't matter. These companies have products and services that are in demand no matter what the economic climate is. And as soon as you invest even $1 in one of these companies, you're automatically on the payroll for getting a dividend check, passive income. The more you invest, the bigger your check will be. The longer you wait and don't even invest anymore, the bigger your check will be because they'll raise the check every year. It's magnificent. And that's why I say it's the easiest way to get passive income because it's instant. As soon as you invest $1, you get a check coming in the mail or coming straight to your bank account. Dividend income is a major, major key to financial freedom and wealth building. It's not the only key, but it's a major key. This is how the rich get richer. It's how you make your money work for you instead of you always having to work for money for the rest of your life. Now, with anything, at first, it's slow. You may look at some of those dividend aristocrat stocks and you may say, oh, it's only paying a 2% dividend, or it might only be paying 5 or 6% dividend at the moment. But like I said, every year they raise the dividend. So you give it 5 years, 10 years or more. You start seeing massive checks that are growing and growing where you can actually pay a lot of bills with. You can actually eventually live on those checks. The more you reinvest, the longer you wait, depending on your lifestyle. It becomes magical once you start growing your dividend income and you start receiving $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. $3,000 a month. And there's no end in sight. Some people will eventually get $10,000 or $20,000 a month. Depending on how much you invest, is how much you'll get. Infinite wealth. Can you imagine just bringing in 50 grand or 100 grand a year just from dividend investments without you lifting a finger? And it continues to compound and grow 5, 10, 15% every year. What job? There's no job that'll give you a 10% raise every year. Not very many. Or 20% raise every year. Most jobs out here are freezing wage increases. Freezing cost of living increases. And that's a major point I wanted to get to. There's nothing wrong with working a job if you like your job. But no matter how much you like your job, no matter how good you are at a job, no matter how much education you have, you're always vulnerable if that job is your only source of income. You cannot depend solely on a job as your only source of income. Don't leave yourself vulnerable like that. Even government employees, it's always thought that the government jobs are the safest jobs, and yeah, they're pretty secure, but they're not 100% bulletproof. No, being an employee is never 100% bulletproof income. Just recently, and every other year, they're always coming out with a government shutdown over political bickering. Just recently, 800,000 government workers are not receiving paycheck over a political government shutdown. The auto industry is very unpredictable. Ford and General Motors recently closed down some plants here and there and laying off workers when different cars have low sales or they're changing car models. You don't want your financial security to totally be in the hands of someone else. Some people like rental property, rental income. There's nothing wrong with that. Consider that. My expertise is in dividend income. Some people like rugby, some people like soccer. You know, one is not better than the other. I always hear sometimes financial gurus say, oh, I like rental. I like real estate investing. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not better than dividend investment. One is not better than the other. Consider both. Consider multiple sources of income. I just mainly focus on dividend stocks because that's my preference. Another thing I like about dividend stocks, people say, oh, the stock market is risky. It goes up, it goes down. That's the great thing about dividend income. Even if you, like say I invest, I like McDonald's stock, okay? Let's say McDonald's goes up and it goes down. It doesn't matter if it goes down temporarily. First of all, the stock market is always going up over the long term, over any 20-year period. So it doesn't matter if it goes up and down, the short-term fluctuations. So say McDonald's has a short-term fluctuation. It goes down for a month or two or even a year or whatever. My dividend income will still continue to be the same. It will still continue to rise. As long as McDonald's is still a relatively profitable company and there's demand for their products. That's why I would do my research and make sure that this is a great company with great demand, with great management. My dividend income will still rise every year. So really, the short-term fluctuation or a downturn in the stock price is actually a gift. That means I can buy more shares at a lower price, and then therefore my dividend check will be even bigger. Let's say it's just like owning an apartment building or a rental property. Are you going to check every other month or every 3 months what's the value of your apartment building? You really don't care about the up and down short-term real estate prices. As long as you're getting your rental income and you can raise your rental income every year with inflation, as long as your rent payments are rising, your rent income is rising, who cares what the short-term market fluctuations are doing? That's the same thing with stock. If I own Coca-Cola stock, I don't care if it's at $50 a share or if it's down to $40 a share. I know my my dividend income is still increasing every year. Those dividend checks are still flowing. Like I mentioned before, you won't get rich overnight, but you will start to build a lot of wealth over time. 5, 10, 15 years, you will start to see massive amount of wealth being built. Then you look down the road, if you have kids, 20 years, 30 years, a nice dividend portfolio will start spitting off a lot of money that you can pass down. You'll never even have to touch the principal. This is how multi-millionaire families are created very often, through dividend portfolios, dividend income portfolios. So you can pass that down to children. You can't pass a job down to your children. You can't pass down job income to your children, but you can definitely pass down dividend income for many, many generations to come. They say wealthy people think about their grandkids' kids' economic future, economic well-being. But middle class, poor people, they think as far out as to making plans for the weekend. That's about as far out as the average person thinks. Oh, what plans do we have for the weekend? But wealthy people are thinking about their grandkids' kids. 30, 40 years into the future. But even in your lifetime, you will still be able to enjoy the fruits of dividend income. Eventually, the dividends can pay for car payments and even rental or mortgage payments, all paid by dividend income. The more you put in, the more you get out of it. The more patient you are, the bigger the reward. The more patient you are, the bigger your reward. So I went into more detail about dividend income in my book, The Secret to Prosperity. Also, you can do your own research on Google. Just look up dividend aristocrats, how dividend income works, and just do your research and understand the urgency of having and establishing multiple sources of income. And dividends can be one of those major sources. Become an owner. Think like an owner, not just a consumer or an employee. Have the ownership mindset, the millionaire mindset. This is Mark Hill. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and stay focused on your dreams.